the Big Apple, which is reeling under the aftermath of severe flash flooding that has left parts of the city under water. Governor Kathy Hochul has declared a state of emergency, and Mayor Eric Adams is urging residents to stay home or seek shelter. New York City is facing a crisis as torrential rain continues to pound the northeastern part of the United States. Brooklyn, in particular, has been hit hard, with shocking images and videos showing streets and subways submerged. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority has reported widespread outages and delays in the city's transit system. A severe storm system has stalled over the city, affecting parts of upstate New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, leading to widespread flood watches and warnings. Emergency alerts have been issued, urging residents not to travel unless absolutely necessary. The city has experienced an unprecedented amount of rainfall, with some areas receiving between 2 and 5 inches of rain. This historic event has led to the evacuation of patients and staff at some hospitals in Brooklyn because of power outages. The intense rainfall transformed streets into rivers, stranding vehicles for hours and forcing subway and commuter rail lines to shut down. Flights had to be cancelled or delayed, and a terminal at LaGuardia Airport was evacuated. Governor Kathy Hochul has emphasized the need for preparedness in the face of climate change. She said this was the kind of rain that was once unimaginable, and we called it once in a century storm. But this is the third time since I was sworn in 2 years ago that I've had a once in a century storm, she said. The last time New York City witnessed devastating floods was in September 2021, when over 40 people lost their lives. The region's vulnerability to flash floods is linked to climate change. As rising temperatures and increased rainfall events become more frequent, the impacts of climate change are, of course, increasingly evident from extreme weather events, not just in New York City, but indeed in many other parts of the world as well. Shri, coming back to you, even though the governor says that this has happened at least twice since she was sworn to office, fact of the matter is that this is still largely unfamiliar territory for New Yorkers. How have they been coping with this situation, which clearly is a very grim one?
So, Neha, New York has just had its wettest September in 140 years. So unfortunately for New York, what happened is Storm Ophelia had already dumped a lot of water on the city. So which means your ground was already saturated. There was a lot of water already in the ground. So when this rain, and the rain here dumped again between 2.5 to 5.5 inches of water in different parts of the city. So when that happened, the ground was unable to absorb a lot of the water. And the amount of water that was now rushing into the sewage system was just way too much for the system to handle. And the other thing, Neha, which a lot of people don't know, is that New York just got lucky. You might ask me, how is it lucky when the entire city is flooded and people are stranded, airport is flooded? It got lucky because the highest amount of rainfall, which is 8.5 inches, did not fall on the city, but it fell offshore. So you can imagine if that 8.5 inches of rainfall that had been dumped on the city, New York would have been like, drowning, Neha. This would have been a complete disaster for the city. So now coming back to New York City as such, Neha, there are some parts of the city which are already submerging. Why are they submerging? They're submerging because, of the natural phenomenon where, when soon after the Ice Age era, there was a land, ice which was on all over the New York area. When that melted, the parts which were, not under the ice, they were slightly, above because of the pressure from the ice. Now, with the ice having melted so many years ago, those, areas are actually beginning to sink. And there are some other parts which are right, basically raising. They're getting raised. So this is again a challenge for the city, where the topography and the sewerage system is not really designed to cope with these changes, although these are on millimeters. But this is significant for the city at a long-term kind of impact, and especially for buildings, Neha. So this is obviously a result of climate change, and the fact, as you mentioned, when you were talking about the story, is that the rains are getting harder. and when they fall, they fall with a larger amount of water because the low pressure system, and the warmer waters that is adding to the moisture, and there's more rain which is like getting created in the clouds, and when it falls, there's a whole lot of water that falls as rains on the city, Neha.
Well, Shri, I can't help but say this. Till just a few years ago, one would have thought that these sort of things happened only in third world countries. This is the big apple that we're talking about. Look at the state of affairs in New York City. I guess climate change is quite the leveler, isn't it?